This is That Video Game Podcast, episode 651 for April 13th, 2020. It got all sciencey.
The doors open themselves.
Density is a property of matter. Wow.
Welcome back to another episode of That Video Game Podcast. I'm your host, Boston Dream. As always, is Moonpeer.
Hello.
And the Nymph.
Hello.
Patreon.com/E1M1. The ones are numbers, all the behind-the-scenes, early access, the cool stuff.
Too much content. Go check it out.
There's a lot of content, and you can put all that stuff in your podcatcher and listen to all of our exclusive stuff. Last week's Outcast episode was pretty good, and this week's episode is real weird already.
Yes.
So,
Well, wasn't last week's also a whole bunch of discussion about vaping too?
yes, there was a bunch of
Patreons, yeah.
yeah. Good stuff. Good times. All right, let's dive into what you've been playing this past week, Mr. Moonpeer.
Okay, some quick hits here. Boston, feel free to not write any of these down if you don't want to, based on how much I talk.
You're not the boss of me, but okay.
Okay. Well, you are not wrong. Okay, so we'll start with Apex Legends. I may have taken too long of a break on Apex.
Oh, no.
Because I've got like 3 weeks left in the season pass, and I'm at level 20.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, so expect Apex Legends to be mentioned a lot. Expect me to mention a lot how it's super duper grindy, because that's what I'm doing right now, because I missed like 8 weeks of daily and weekly challenges and stuff like that.
Okay. I was just about to ask how long a season was, and long enough.
Yes, definitely long enough. You can crush it if you play it even casually, but I took like a 6 to 8 week break, and I was just like, I'm fine, not playing it right now.
Yeah.
So yeah, I'm probably going to get burnt out on it again a little bit here, but we'll see.
And then you'll take another 6 or 8 week break. It'll be fine.
Yeah, exactly. And then this whole cycle will repeat itself all over and over again. It's just like broken tools. And the Apex knows my loop. My loop is 6 weeks break, play hardcore for 2 months, 6 weeks break, play hardcore for 2 months.
Time is a flat circle.
It's great. It's still fun when you play it with friends. If you see me online playing Apex, which I forgot I was appearing offline, so I may have been appearing offline for like 3 weeks and not even realized it, which is fun. Because normally the Dead by Friday crew pointed out to me and they're like, dude, you're appearing offline. Send us an invite. But they didn't. Not once. For like 3 weeks did they point out that I was appearing offline.
Maybe it was a test. They're trying to see how long you'll last.
Fine. Like weeks apparently is how long it'll last.
Right. Leave me alone. I'm in my farm.
Yeah.
But yes, if you see me playing Apex, just let me know if you want to play with me. I'm fine with that because I hate randos.
Mm-hmm.
A lot.
Oh, I died in the first minute, quit. It's like, no, come on, kid, don't. Okay.
I got downed in the first minute, quit is the better one. Because you can still get picked up and you can still get revived in Apex, but these people still just drop.
I'm literally next to you, dude. Just don't. Okay, he quit.
I pinged your banner to say I would be on the way.
Right.
Why did you wait until I was halfway there before quitting?
Oh, God.
Again, let me just reiterate, I hate randos. Randos can go away. My wife is great. I am terrible. That is the important lesson to be learned from this.
Right.
She's really good at video games, folks, especially ones where you go pointy, shooty.
Right.
She is especially great at those ones. I played a little bit of The Complex. A little bit more of The Complex. I really like that game. If you have any interest in like FMV, choose your own adventure, like 2.5 hour games that are really dumb fun, please go and support Wales Interactive. I want them to make more of these games. If you're Welsh, go and support Wales Interactive. If you have Welsh blood in your system, go and support Wales Interactive. It's a tiny studio that make pretty high quality stuff considering how cheap they are. It's like $10 for a 2.5 hour experience you can do like 6 times.
I gotta go buy that.
They're so good. Like,
Yeah.
I just...
Go support indie devs.
Yes, especially that. And then do what Microsoft do and steal all of their ideas and put it into your new game.
Whoops.
That was a Hollow
Yeah,
Knight
but they had
shout-out.
Lance Riddick, so...
Go away. I played a bit more of the Doom Eternal multiplayer, the Beast mode, whatever it's called.
Mm-hmm.
I actually don't know if it's called Beast mode. I should probably know that by now, but I don't.
Honestly, it has some name like that.
I'm only playing it for achievements at this point. I have 1 single player achievement left and like 9 multiplayer ones, because why not stick 9 multiplayer achievements in a Doom game, you POS?
Oh, God.
Are they fun multiplayer ones?
No.
Like kill 10 people with headshots while doing a 360 in the air at 7 p.m.?
No, unfortunately, it's get a kill with every weapon as the Doomslayer.
That's not too bad.
Not too bad. Includes the BFG,
Oh, okay.
which you have to get to round 4 to get, so it can't be a clean sweep. You have to at least win 1 round as the Slayer to get to that round.
Okay.
Everybody is playing as the new boss guy with the stupid axe because he controls and plays exactly like the Doomslayer.
The Marauder?
Yes.
Yeah.
I played as him, and guess what? He plays exactly like the Doomslayer. It's like...
Okay.
So now it's basically a Doomslayer versus 2 Doomslayers, and it's a pain in the backside. Ugh.
Everyone on Twitter has such great things to talk about the Marauders. So happy you have to fight 2 in multiplayer.
Uh-huh.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Yeah.
It's a nightmare. Is it an ultra nightmare, though? That's the question.
I was waiting for you to follow that up with some sort of Doom joke. Left the floor open.
I mean, it's fun. It's dumb. Honestly, it needs balancing because the demons are way too powerful at this moment in time. Like,
Oh, okay.
super powerful, and the achievements are all stupid grindy achievements, and I know I killed with at least 7 of the... Well, actually, technically, I know I killed with all 7 of the weapons, but I still haven't gotten credit for it, so go to hell, Doom. Not
right.
literally, because that's where you're most comfortable. Go to heaven, Doom.
Right.
Thank you very much.
How dare you?
Ugh. But yes,
Language.
Doom Eternal multiplayer, blah, 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 blah. Dead by Friday. Me, my wife, Rob, friend of the show, Justin, friend of the show, we all jumped in and played a little bit too much.
Okay.
And then Jason showed up at like 12:30 after midnight.
Mm-hmm.
And we played another round and let Jess shoot us all with the stupid chain gun. And then I went to bed and it suddenly became Call of Saturday because it was Saturday morning and everybody jumped over to Call of Duty. So sure, whatever, that's fine. Dead by Daylight is fun. I almost said Dead by Friday is fun. It is, but Dead by Daylight is fun too.
Right.
I did tweet out that I hit my million points marker at last.
That's right. Congrats.
I hit 1 million blood points. Which
Blood
is
punch.
literally the most you can get in the game. So now I just have to figure out what to spend it on, and I honestly do not know. I just don't. It's like, okay.
Now you can invest and diversify your portfolio of blood points.
Yes, diversify my portfolio, get them, spread out my balance among all of the skills that I'm looking to unlock for other characters, and it would be really, really great.
There you go.
This week and last week, but I didn't mention it last week, I played an absolute poop ton of Poi, which I can't talk about right now. So join in next week, next Saturday, I believe it is, for the Game Club episode.
Yep.
Starring myself, me, the host of the show, me, the star.
Big boss.
That's Snake to you, thank you very much.
Oh, sorry, John.
Boston, and friend of the show, Musa.
Jack. That's right. If you want to play along with us, it's Poi, P-O-I.
Yes, it is available on pretty much everything, I believe.
Yeah.
But yeah, we'll talk about that in depth next week. I can't really say a lot right now. I did beat the game, though, so
Nice.
that gives me a week to go through New Game Plus and get that final achievement that I need.
I should probably start that.
Yeah, you probably should.
Yeah.
Yeah. No, seriously, start it. It will take longer than you think.
Yeah. I'm worried about that. Yeah. Behind the scenes, everybody.
Yep, it happens to all of us. Like we'll all have it. Like where 1 month the two of us have played a game a lot, and then Musam's like, "I'm sorry, guys, I only played this much." And then the next month, Musam and you have played it. I'm like, dudes, come on.
I put 3 hours into it. I tried.
Yeah, and then this month apparently it's your turn to be the I'm sorry, I'm a little baby and I didn't beat it.
It's the scales. One side of the scale is We Roguelike It, and the other side of the scale is Game Club, and only one can win at a time.
Even between those two podcasts, I find it funny when you guys really enjoy a game in either category, you go like full on into it. And if there's just like a hint of weakness in the game, it's like, I only played an hour of it.
Right. Yeah, we're very cutthroat, where it's like, this is the best game of 2016, or this was trash.
Or it's the most innovative first-person shooter I've ever played.
Yeah, exactly.
That's right.
That's too good. My final game this week. Because yes, I played a little bit of a lot, not a lot of a little.
Okay.
Which took me 5 hours to beat.
Okay.
It's Resident Evil 3.
Oh.
I saw your tweet go out for it.
Yep. I literally started the game yesterday.
Okay.
I beat it today.
Okay.
7 hours in game time, 5 hours actual play time, to give you an idea, because it tells you.
That's a little short.
A little short. Just a little short.
It gets even shorter when you go to speed run it, because
the achievement.
I've seen people beat it, I've seen people beat it in an hour and a half.
Wow.
Yeah.
So,
but that's with all the unlocks and stuff too. It's not, you trying to figure things out.
So it's probably worth mentioning I have very, very minimal experience with Resident Evil 3.
Yeah.
1, I played the living bejesus out of, or the unliving bejesus out of, if you will.
Heyo.
2, I did the exact same thing. Like 2, I think I'm pretty sure I wore out my PlayStation 2 discs with how much I played that game. 3, I played it at a friend's house and kind of never really put that much time into it.
I feel like that's the common story for all of us, where it's like, 1 was this lightning crash, which is like, look, this is incredible. And 2 was just like, cool, 2 discs of that. Like, this is incredible. And then 3 came out and was like, I'm okay.
Yep. From what I understand, this isn't as direct of a remake as 2 was. Like, 2 was pretty solidly, here is all of the steps you take to get through the mansion and do all of this kind of stuff. For what I understand, there are chunks of 3 that are missing. Apparently that's for good reason, but I don't know because I haven't played 3.
Okay.
Nemesis is an interesting concept. Mr. X is better.
Okay.
Because Mr. X doesn't fire rocket launchers at you.
That is a large difference, yes.
Yes. Speaking of which, Boston, when are you going to add to our Patreon page the we need 100 patrons, please, so Boston can play Resident Evil 7?
I keep forgetting. I'm sorry.
No, I want it added this weekend so I can tweet out about that goal and get you to 100 so that we can force you to play Resident Evil 7.
Oh, my God. Can I play Resident Evil 8 instead?
Nope.
Okay.
It's 7.
All right.
Gotta be 7.
You can play the other Resident Evils to get you ready for 7.
No, just with the rumors of Resident Evil 8, it sounds like it's interesting.
Yes.
Yeah, it sounds interesting.
But you have to play 7 because it's genuinely terrifying.
Okay.
Speaking of which, though, this is done in the RE engine again. Shock, shock, horror, horror, I know.
Nice. The Rengen.
The Rengen,
looks pretty.
yes. It's an amazing engine.
Yeah.
And fun fact, this game starts in first-person mode.
That's cool.
Yep.
It transitions for its first-person mode, explore in a room, and then you look into blah, 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 mirror scene, zoom out, you're behind the back.
That's cool. That's fun.
Really well done, and it's like, okay, good, this is the RE7 engine, just like I thought it was, except you've obviously put some smoochy-boochy touches on the top of it and made it look incredible again.
Right.
There are definitely reused assets from 2 in this, and I'm not talking about the police station. Like, obviously, the police station's going to be reused. Obviously, the cop in the lobby, who's played by the same actor and voiced by the same dude, is going to be the same model.
Right.
I'm talking about...
The lazy devs. How? Yeah.
I don't know what this says about me, but I'm talking about the sewage people. I'm talking about the piles of poop in the sewers is the same piles of poop I trotted through in Resident Evil 2.
Okay.
And it's not the same sewer system because it's a different layout and it's different in many different ways.
Sure.
But it's the same piles of poop.
Right.
This is your sewer system?
Right, that's right. That's right. These are my pile of poops.
But, I don't care. It's a fun game. It's stupid. You get a lot more ammo. You feel a lot more offensive, much more than you do in RE2, which is kind of the whole point of the game.
Mm-hmm.
RE3 is more action-based, and then they take it to 4, the booty shooty, as I heard it referred to today.
I did hear that today.
Yeah.
A lot of people saying, like, I can't believe Capcom would announce they're working on a Resident Evil 4 remake. It's like, you sure? You sure about that?
Mm-hmm.
Sure about Capcom's Resident Evil series?
Yep.
Yeah.
Tell me a game that they're selling more copies of other than Monster Hunter.
Right. Like, I don't... Yeah.
It just doesn't
They don't have that Yakuza money.
No, they certainly don't. But no, it's a fun game. It's short. It looks incredible again. Like,
Yeah.
full credit to them. Like, it looks amazing. It still plays fantastically. Nemesis can go to hell. Stupid rocket launcher was stupid.
Why would you give him weapons, video game?
He jumps over you and lands in front of you when you're trying to escape from him. So then you've got to do the U-turn and run the other direction. Be thankful I'm not making you play Resident Evil 3 with this 100 patron mark, Mr. Boston.
It doesn't sound like a fun time.
Just remember, too, that in this one, you actually just turn your character around, where in the original one, you had to hit back, and I think it was R1 to do a 180 turn to run away.
Right.
Yep. Like, it's fine. It's a pretty good game. I mean, I enjoyed it. I'm not disappointed that I paid $60 for it. I don't care. I want to support this endeavor. If they can keep the RE engine going, and if they do an EA and make the engine their whatever it's called, their Frostbite engine.
Right.
If they make
like
that
their in-house
Frostbite
engine,
like the things that they could do with that game, well, with that engine could be insane. Give me a Monster Hunter in the engine. Give me all of those beautiful worlds rendered in that stuff, please.
Yeah.
But yeah, the funny thing is I started yesterday and I got up to a point last night. I was like, okay, this is a good cutoff point. And then I booted up this morning, and about 2 small sequences later, I was like, I'm pretty sure I'm approaching the end of the game.
Right.
For 2 reasons. Number 1, I got the Master of Unlocking achievement, because of course that's in there.
Naturally.
And number 2, suddenly it got all sciencey.
Yeah, that's a good sign.
And if there's one thing about Resident Evil games, the second it goes sciencey, you know you're near the end of the game, because now you're in the lab and now you're against the big bad sooner or later. It's like, okay, so I'm just going to power through this and just go straight to the end. And then I beat it by 2 p.m. this afternoon. I was like, that's cool. Now I'm going to do the collectibles achievement, the speedrun achievement, the don't open the item box achievement, because why not? S-rank achievement, a whole bunch of other stuff to do with achievements, and then I'm going to uninstall it and then play Resident Evil 2 again, because I've still got like 3 achievements in that I need to play. Because, But, I mean, that's fine. I'll play the game like 3-4 times, I'll enjoy it while I'm playing it, and then I'll uninstall it and put it on the shelf, the digital shelf, so to speak,
right,
by uninstalling it. And then I'll install something else, like, I don't know, the 160 gig Call of Duty or whatever else is next on my list. Or maybe I'll install the Arkham collection, which I bought on sale, or my wife bought on sale, like 3 years ago, and I still haven't loaded. What is wrong with me?
I bet Arkham Asylum is still fun.
But the funny thing is, dude, I beat Arkham Asylum 3 times across the 360. If you go and look at my gaming card, good luck scrolling that far back, by the way, folks.
Right.
You can go and find Batman Arkham Asylum UK Edition, Batman Arkham Asylum American Edition, and Batman Arkham Asylum Game of the Year Edition, because they came with separate achievements. So I did it 3 times.
It's a great game.
Exactly. Yeah. But yeah, I like Resident Evil 3. I can understand if you're not happy with your purchase. That's fine. I'm fine with my purchase.
Yeah.
So it's fun. Let's go.
That's all I can ask for.
Yeah, and that's all I've been playing. Take it away, Mr. Sciencey Nimp.
Sweet. I also have my general, hey, we played Rocket League. I didn't suck this bad.
Nice.
Wait, let me rephrase that. I didn't suck that bad.
Right.
Not that I didn't suck this bad.
Right.
Phrasing.
I actually did fairly well. I completed I made some goals, saved some goals. I was fairly competent. And then we stopped playing because it was late, and I didn't realize that it was 9 o'clock, and my son and I were still playing Rocket League.
I was fairly competent. The NIMP 2020. I want that on a t-shirt.
It's only taken 2 years of Rocket League.
That's right.
Dude, I've been playing Apex for like 3 years, and I'm still garbage at it. Like, if I don't play consistently, I'm so bad.
I think it's also just the simple fact that my son still really gets a kick out of just running into me in the middle of a match and then saying, I didn't do it. It's like, I can see you. Your name is right there.
You know what happens if I do that to my wife?
There was one time it was not him because somebody or other player, their name just happened to be fairly similar. So I just happened to catch like the first 3 letters, and then, I absolved him of that one.
Right.
Oh, wow.
Pardoned him of that crime.
I do apologize for interrupting, but speaking of similar names, I can't help but tell this story. My wife was playing Call of Duty, I think. I don't know. She was playing something in the Xbox. It was a team-based game, so it was Call of Duty or Apex or something else. I don't know. My wife's gamer tag is Bearded Lady O, and she ran across a fellow gamer called Bearded Baby.
I saw that on Twitter.
Sent him a message saying, my son! And there was some very good interactions between the two of them.
Yeah.
He was like the MVP, really, and it was like, Siege. Because he got the MVP or something, or won the last round, and she sent him a message saying, Mom was so proud. And he was like, thank you, Mommy.
That's awesome.
Like,
really good.
It's great when messages can be shared and they're not full of vitriol and hatred and bile.
Yeah.
But yes.
I think I just would have been confused more than anything else. Like, who the hell is this person sending me a message?
Right, like, what are they? I'm not here at King Shame, but what's going on here?
The next game that I had played after Rocket League, Call of Duty for the vast majority of the week. The season did reset. We're in season 3 now. We have 55 weeks for this season.
Wow.
To get to 100.
And you're at 92.
No, I'm at like 70 now because they don't do prestiging anymore.
Okay.
What happens is at the end of every season, whatever your highest level is, it goes on some Wall of Fame BS thing or whatever, so you could look back on it.
Oh, right.
I don't know why it matters, but then it resets your level. If you were above level 55, it resets you back down to 55.
Okay.
And if you were below 55, you keep your level. 55 is just the sweet spot. Once you hit it or go above it, it resets you down to that, and then you go back up to 155.
That's interesting.
So I think I made it to like 100. I was either 139 or 140. I wasn't really trying that hard for level. Yeah, exactly. But now I'm back up to 70 or 72 or something like that. I haven't bought the new season pass because I'm going to do the same thing I did last time, is just see how far I get into it, and then if I happen to get close enough to 100, then I'll buy it, because I have enough of the coins now, because I bought the last season pass, so I have enough of the in-game currency to buy this season if I want to.
Yeah, that's what I do with Apex every year. It's like, I don't care if I get to every season, it's like, I don't care if I get to 100, if I get my premium currency back, I buy the next one, that's it.
Yeah. But like your weapon levels and the stuff that you've earned for your weapons, you keep those. That doesn't reset. The commendations that you get, like the little challenges, like, hey, do 3 no-scope headshots or whatever, and you get your little stupid ribbon that gives you your XP bonus. Those reset, which is fine because it's just extra bonus stuff. It doesn't really matter. And that seems to be it. So that was one of the things that I was worried about, because it used to be that when you prestiged, you just lost everything and started from scratch.
Right. Yep.
And if that's how this was going to be, I was not going to continue to play Call of Duty.
Right.
Because I had no interest. But yeah, it's been pretty fun. Played a lot of Plunder. Played a lot of Warzone. Mostly hardcore multiplayer. Which, I don't know, there's like, in the season update, for some reason they've changed something with the shields. You can choose to have a riot shield as your main weapon, which is basically bulletproof. and they changed something with it positively. So now everyone's just camping with riot shields, and it's a real pain to play the game.
Great.
Yeah.
Yeah, like in a standard Call of Duty game. So,
Right.
Yeah. Eventually there will be campers. But
some annoying meta.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But whatever. Next game that I played, an oldie but a goodie, Yakuza Kiwami.
Yeah.
I am in chapter 8 now. All kinds of just fun, crazy stuff.
That game goes places.
It does. I was helping a lady sell matches, and this one guy was hell-bent that I was selling drugs on the street, and he bought my matches and said that he is going to go to his apartment and try these, and I am pretty sure he is dead now. You don't get any feedback. Yeah, you don't get any feedback on what this guy... what happens to him.
Was there any
He
fire
just disappears.
alerts? Like any houses on fire notifications?
Dude is just gone.
Oh, man.
And I am at the part with Majima where apparently he is hiding in an alley waiting for me to find him.
That is the point where Majima Everywhere failed for me. I had no idea where he went. Like
I can't find him.
Yeah, I couldn't find him at all, and like I never progressed past that because he's like, Kiryu-chan, I'm hiding in an alley, and I'm like, I don't. You got to give me something better than that. Like Kamurocho has 500 alleys.
What does he sound like?
Because he is.
Well, he has popped up out of like garbage cans and stuff. So
yeah, because his Yakuza family calls you and says, hey, the boss has been missing for like a week now. Yep. Last we heard, he said that he was going to be finding you to fight. Have you seen him? And you're like, no. And then they finally said, okay, well, maybe he's hiding in these things that we built for him a couple weeks ago because we thought it was really weird. And they're like, so if you find anything unusual in a back alley, that may be where he is.
Oh, God.
So I've been like looking around as I've been doing side missions and stuff, and I haven't found anything unusual because this place is packed with stuff, so everything is unusual to me. So I'm walking around looking for something obvious, and I haven't found them at all.
My favorite thing is when his clan calls Kiryu, and Kiryu's like, I haven't seen him. I don't want to deal with it. I don't want to deal with him. I guess I will find him. Oh my God, whatever. It's just like he's so tired of this whole thing.
Well, and then there's I think it's a story beat. It might be a side mission, but it involves a stripper and a shotgun.
Mm-hmm.
And I thought that was him, and it wasn't.
Right. Wait, I'm so sorry, ma'am.
Wait, did you think the stripper was him or the shotgun was him?
I thought the stripper was him.
Okay.
Yeah.
Because there's someone that yells out, hey, I think that's a dude, and then stuff goes down, and I'm like, oh, this is it, finally. No,
right.
This is
pulls off a mask.
This is some other crazy person.
Right.
So, but yeah, so I'm in chapter 8. I got, oh God, I can't remember her name. Haruko?
That sounds right.
Something along those lines. I got her back because she was kidnapped by gang members.
Right.
And I just really enjoy, however, whenever I take a side quest, I'm always just trying to think ahead to how is this going to turn to violence, because that is what this game is.
Someone rips off their coat.
Yeah.
Yep.
No matter what you do, no matter who you talk to, someone needs something beaten into them.
Yep.
And then they start talking to you instead of the other way around.
Right.
So, I'm also currently looking for a replacement for the fighter who is the pocket slot car fighter champion, whatever.
Oh, yeah.
I need to find a replacement for him because he wants to get married, but he has to get a real job to get married because he's only working part-time, minimum wage.
Yeah, I forgot about that.
Yeah, and then I've been challenged to a duel with slot cars because some guy thinks I'm crushing on his girl when he isn't.
Kiryu is never crushing on a girl.
Yeah, and he has no clue what's going on.
Yep.
Yeah, this game is just crazy. I love this series, and I think that's also why I have to give these games a break sometimes, so I can really, really take in the essence of these games.
Yeah.
Just because, I didn't think you could get much further than crazy chicken at a retail thing.
Right.
Yep.
What was it? It wasn't retail. It was
the bowling
property
alley.
management. That's what it was.
Yep.
Wasn't it?
Yep.
Yeah.
You got a chicken for bowling a turkey.
Yeah.
So good.
So I'm gonna keep playing that eventually, because I got other big things going on right now. Next game that I played, Xenoblade Chronicles 2. Finally figured out where I was supposed to go.
Yeah.
I had to look this up, and apparently there was just a pair of steps that I walked by all these times and didn't realize that they were steps.
Those are my favorite YouTube videos where you watch it and you're like, oh my God.
even the YouTuber, because I had read something and I'd watched a video, and both things gave you exact directions on how to get to these steps, because they're like, you've been past them several times and you're going to recognize them as soon as I take you there.
Mm-hmm.
But it's just, they're covered in monsters and it's a dark place, so you can't tell that there's something over there.
Ah, right.
And that sucked. And apparently this has been everyone's issue, because there's like forum posts from like 2-3 years ago about everyone trying to figure out how to get to this one area.
Right.
So it's not just me.
Nice.
So I'm in chapter 6 of that game now. I finally have 2 more party members. So I got rid of Tora, because I hate listening to him talk, but he still shows up in every game-related cutscene. But yeah, it's pretty nice. Still haven't gotten Cosmos. Don't think I ever will.
Probably not.
Never.
Yeah.
I will have to probably send my save to my computer and dink around with it to get it to work. But...
Right.
Well, if you're going to do it that way, just send it to Mina.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah, just send it to her, have her roll.
No, I will not give in.
Right.
I will earn it on my own or just cry. One or the other.
So cry.
But the story,
Yeah.
But the story's picked up quite a lot. I'm actually way higher of a level than I should be, because I did a bunch of side quests and stuff trying to figure out how to get to this stupid area. So the first new party member that you get comes in at level 40, and they're supposed to be a couple levels higher than you. No, they were a couple levels lower than I was.
Right.
So
you're over there like 65. You're like, I got this.
Yeah. I had to level them up so that they would catch up, and then I just got the new character. I'm not going to go into who all they are, because they're story spoilers, but for anyone who would want to play the game. But it's pretty cool. The story's picking up really fast. I'm just mainlining the story right now because I'm so high level I don't need to do side quest right now. And there's still a ton of them, and I don't know why people just... I don't know the fascination with this series and just throwing thousands of quests. It's the same thing with Skyrim.
Yeah.
It's cool the first couple of times.
Right.
But I don't need 6 pages worth of quest logs that are all basically the same thing.
The first game, when I played it on the Wii, was like that. Like, that's why I eventually dropped it, because like I was just like, oh well, I got to this town at the beginning, I'm just gonna do all the side quests, and you do all of them. There's like 2 or 3 pages of them. You do the next story beat, and like all of those people you just did side quests for all have at least one more quest. And I was like, I guess I'll do all these too. Nope. And like that repeats every story beat. It's like I can't do this. There's so many.
I just ignore them now. I've got 5 pages worth of side quests now. So
Yeah.
It's like, nope, screw this. So yeah, I will continue that as well. It's fun, and it's got the weird and like this thing goes hardcore into anime tropes.
Yes.
I keep forgetting that because I haven't had a story beat in so long. But my God, just the cringe-worthy anime stuff that they throw in there sometimes.
Well, talk about it a lot on Pup, where it's like, I'll defeat this enemy, but the power of friendship. It's like, oh my God.
Come up a couple times, but there's been some things where like my wife will walk into the room and she'll look at the screen and be like, what are you doing? I'm like, just me and my anime honeys. That's all.
Yeah. Don't judge.
All I can say. The last game that I played for this week, which was a whole blunder in itself, is the Final Fantasy VII Remake.
Yeah, me too.
And it seems like I'm not the only one that had shipping issues. And this wasn't Corona-related shipping or COVID-19 related shipping issues. This was, they screwed up the label. So basically what had happened was it started in North Carolina. and that's where they lost track of it. And no one could find anything. And it showed up today randomly.
Okay.
And it shows on there that they had to reprint a label for it. So I pulled up the tracking information for that one, and my package went from North Carolina to South Carolina, North Carolina again, then back down to South Carolina, then back up to North Carolina, then to Ohio, then to the major city by me, and then to my house.
Jeez.
Oh, boy.
Yeah. So apparently the shipping label got jacked, and that was one of the notes that was put in there. It was like, had to reprint a new shipping label.
Wow.
It's like,
That's a new one.
Because it was just going back and forth between the same two states 4 times.
Ask your mother. Go ask your father.
So I bought the game digitally as well. I was going to do it eventually anyway because my son wants to play this game, and I'm not buying him the deluxe version because I can just move all that stuff onto my other PS4, so I just bought the standard for that. And that's what I've been playing, and this game is pretty.
My God. Like, how far are you? I'm about, I think I've done the first 3 side quests they give you.
I am on chapter 8.
Okay.
So, I'm not going to spoil anything in this game.
Yeah.
I'm just going to hit the story beats from the original game 23 years ago. So if you haven't played that one, tough S. Yeah. So I've already fallen to the church, and I've met up with Aerith again.
Okay. Gotcha.
So...
yeah,
and that's all I'll say for that.
I think I'm also not going to spoil anything because I think the thing that's so interesting about this game is we talked about the demo before, where there's that like storyline change at the end of the demo where Shinra blows up their own Mako reactor.
Yeah,
and it's incredible that the bombing mission is exactly how it was in Final Fantasy VII until that story beat, and then the game is completely different after that in every single possible way. Like, it just says, like, Final Fantasy VII was really cool. There's our Cliff's Notes. I'm just going to take a left turn and we're going to do our own, not really our own thing, but, like, even in Final Fantasy VII, you know, when you escape from the Shinra soldiers at the beginning of the game, you, like, jump off of the bridge onto that train. Like, that's a real long, pretty significant sequence in and of itself, where you meet Aerith and you deal with the new stuff. Especially the cutscene where someone asks Cloud to do them a favor, and we're like, this is dope. This is super good. But, like, it's... And then, like, you're in Sector 8, and you're just kind of doing a bunch of side quests. And you just have free roam of this area of the sector. And it's like, okay, this is very different and very cool.
Yeah, they've basically taken... So what I liken it to is the original Final Fantasy VII is basically the Cliff Notes. Those are all your major story beats.
Yep.
The remake so far basically flushes everything out.
Yep.
Characters, the reason why you're doing so-and-so, mission, objective, whatever. Sometimes even why these enemies show up when they do.
Yeah.
They've expanded on a lot. The focus on 3 particular characters right now is way more focused than what you get in the original game, which is great because you get to learn more about them. Yeah. And especially one who's a major flirt. Right. And you kind of get that in the original game, but they really hammer it home on this one. So.
One of my favorite early game sequences is the first time you bump into Aerith, and Cloud is trying to be super cool, but he's like, you can tell he's kind of caught off guard by her, and he goes, I'm involved in things. Dangerous things. And she goes, I'm sure you are. Anyway, she's just like, she doesn't care.
Dude, I love Aerith in this game because her personality is so bubbly and airy at the same time.
But never really annoying.
Yeah, and she's just really carefree.
Yep.
She actually swears in this game.
I have heard that.
So far only once. Yeah.
Yep.
So far only once, but when she does it, it is like the most polite swear ever.
Right.
And it caught me so off guard that I just started laughing out loud because there's a reason for her to swear,
right?
But it was just really funny.
Yeah, I'm also really impressed by how they're characterizing Tifa in the beginning, where it's like this community-focused, like civic-minded person, where she's like taking care of the people in the sector, taking care of some stuff while still trying to run a business. Like, it's really, I think I'm really surprised by how great the voice acting is. I know people will be like, "Oh, Square Enix game has great voice acting." It's like, not always. That's not a rock solid reputation for them. And I think everybody has really proven themselves voice acting wise. I think Barrett's voice makes sense now that I'm hearing it in context. I'm still not entirely sold on it, but I think the voice actor they got to do it serves that role of like the guy that's rallying the troops really well. Like he can deliver these speeches, like these grand speeches about how we're saving the planet, we're doing the right thing. Because after what happens in that intro and like you leave Sector 7 and you see what happens, everyone's like, oh, we made a mistake. Like we have done the wrong thing. And how the remake shows the aftermath of that is so much more impactful than the first game, where it's like, this hallway was on fire, see you at the trains. And this one's just like, no man, you messed up. Like you did a real bad thing.
I also find with Barrett, for as far in as I am, he has started to like open up a little bit more.
Yep.
Not necessarily personally, but personality wise, he's opened up a little bit more, and you're starting to see a little bit of a crack in that hard-assness of his.
Well, there's that scene when Cloud jumps in the train at the beginning, and Barrett was like, "Oh, thank goodness, I was worried about you." And he's like, "No, wait, you're finally here. How could whatever?" You know, it's like he like caught himself. It's really good.
And I still find it really funny that Cloud is just a very stable, nonchalant guy.
Yeah,
and it's funny how far, like when you were talking about when he was talking with Aerith and he's just like, yeah, I'm into dangerous stuff.
I'm cool. Which way to the gym? Ooh.
Yeah. He's not trying to be hardcore. He's just very, I guess, like
aloof kind of.
Yeah, in a weird way. And it's just kind of funny how he'll deliver his lines. Like, did you get to the parachute part yet?
No, not yet.
Okay, so I won't say anything about that, but there's a particular part in there where someone says something to him and Cloud responds back and then does something that also had me laughing out loud. Because I was like, that's something that I could see Cloud doing.
I do like that they spend a bunch of time zooming in on his eyes. Because for anyone that has played 7, Cloud's eyes are a significant thing. And I like that the game really early on is sort of like, look at what's going on with his eyes. That's super weird. Yeah. I think that's... And on top of that, boy, the soundtrack is really good.
That was another thing I was going to bring up.
I wish...
The soundtrack and just the general noise in the game.
Yeah.
Like going through Sector 7 and stuff, you can hear construction going on in the background as you're just walking around exploring.
Yep. The way that the soundtrack, like, it has a really great dynamic soundtrack where it's sort of flowing between songs as you're going and doing things. I wish the soundtrack... I'm mostly playing it in headphones, so it might not be the same issue if I was playing it on TV speakers. It's a little quiet.
I'm playing on headphones too.
Okay, it's a little quiet in the mix. So like anytime you walk by like a jukebox or someone who's selling the in-game music CDs, those are like way louder than the soundtrack itself. So that's a little bit weird, but like so much of it is the right orchestration of this soundtrack that I love. Because like I have a lot of mixed feelings about the original Final Fantasy VII. It is an uneven experience, but the soundtrack is incredible. And to hear that brought forward, like the first time the battle theme comes on, I'm like, oh, that's good. That's the good stuff. Like Aerith's theme comes up the first time and you're like, crap, this is still such a great song. Like everything is so good.
Have you come across the Hip Hop Chocobo song yet?
Hip Hop to Chocobo is really something. Like
especially when you find it in the world, because you can buy the music in the game.
Yeah.
And then you can put it into a jukebox at 7th heaven. That way you can listen to it anytime you want.
Yeah.
But how you find it is you just randomly hear like a different song playing in the background. All of a sudden, your top left, there'll be this music icon with a bunch of question marks.
Yeah.
Letting you know, hey, this is new music. You haven't found it.
And I hear the Chocobo theme, and I was just like,
yeah,
what is happening with this version?
But it's all like auto-tuned and
has a beat under it. It's just like, what is, and you buy it and it says hip hop to Chocobo. It's like, oh my god, this is incredible.
It's this guy, when you buy it from a guy who's standing in front of a business, and it's any rapper you've seen out in the wild of, hey, this is my single, you want to buy it?
It's my mixtape
out from the back of his trunk, and
it's really good.
I also like that every song has its own CD cover.
Yes.
Which like is really awesome, and it all has its own special artwork.
Yeah, like the sort of like EDM version of the Prelude theme has like this really appropriate cover where it's like, oh, this is like a graphic design is my passion sort of cover. And it's like, this is really good. It's really good.
Koshimo really awesome. And Cha has a question for you guys.
Sure. Koshimo says, I'm still wondering how they're going to figure out doing this scale of remake for the whole game. They turned hours in. That game was about 70 hours originally, so this has been 14 games. Haha. I feel like I've only played a couple hours, so I know there are significant storyline changes, and that's all that I know so far because I'm really trying not to spoil myself on this. Which wasn't going to be a concern originally because I was like, oh, it's Final Fantasy VII, and they'll just tweak a little bit of things, and then everything changed immediately. So it's like, oh, okay, so I guess I won't spoil myself on this. But I feel like there's so much stuff that they can kind of shorten / cut out of some of the rest of the game where it's like, do they need to spend so much time at like Costa del Sol? Do they need to spend so much time in Junon? Do they need to do... Obviously, you get the big story dump at Com, and you get some of the cool side stuff, but I'm not sure of how much they really go in.
And the original war between Shinra and, what was it, Wutali?
Yeah.
Is a bigger thing in this game than it was in the original. Like, in the original, they just brought it up. Like, it was something that you read, and it was just a quick thing that you found out.
Right.
In this one, it's starting to become like a bigger thing.
Interesting.
So that's pretty cool. And I will know more once we've beaten this game where exactly the story stops. Just to see, how much they fill in. But it feels like what they are doing is they are just expanding more on the story.
Yeah.
Because I know originally when the first game came out, there was talk about there was a lot of cutting that they had to do to get the game out to begin with.
Yeah.
So there's just like a lot of random story that's just not in there.
Yeah. And they're laying so much, even like in the first hour, they're laying so much groundwork of the later stuff in Final Fantasy VII and some of the Crisis Core stuff, because one of the first hallucinations that Cloud sees is a black feather falling down. It's just like, oh my, okay, like we're starting out with a hot banger here. Like they're really setting up the fact that Cloud has some stuff and he's not entirely stable, not in a bad way, but like I don't know, they've
already alluded to him having like I've seen it. He's had like one of those random, not flashbacks, but like whatever you want to call it, premonition, whatever.
Right.
He's already had one that pertains to Holy, even though nobody knows what Holy is right now.
Right.
So,
right.
And God, that's gonna suck when they get to that point.
Yeah. Yeah, it's gonna be
especially if they get as story deep as they are now.
Yeah, it's gonna be real hard.
It's gonna be gut wrenching.
Yeah, but I'm really happy with Final Fantasy VII Remake so far. I was hoping to have more time in it, but I have not had a ton of time to play stuff as soon as it came out. But I'm really looking forward to to really spend a lot of time in this.
And honestly, too, my hope is that, because we've all seen how Square used to do in the past with releasing sequels and stuff like that. Mm-hmm. My hope is that they take as much time with the continuations as they did with this.
Right.
But I'm also hoping that there's not more than 3 at the most. I would love it if they released the next one and it's everything else after this point.
Yeah, just the second half.
Yeah,
right.
But if they're going to put this much effort into however many more they need, I would be fine with that. Because so far, I'm like 10 hours into it, and I'm not disappointed by anything story-wise so far.
Yeah, I think you bring up a good point that if they go longer than a trilogy, I feel like that might be pretty bad. It might feel like they're trying to really stretch. Jay Vengeance in chat says they have the engine, and I'm sure they've been recording dialogue since the beginning, so the next part might be further along than we think. I feel like that's the thing that makes me a little bit more hopeful about the potential faster timeline of the next parts, is that they have the engine, it's stable, it runs really well, it looks really great. There's some texture issues, but they can patch that stuff later. Like, it seems really stable, and the technology and the foundation seems really good. Now they need to create assets and create cutscenes and record dialogue and all that stuff. The other 95% of the game. They at least have a stable foundation.
But honestly, just take your time with it, because I would rather it be another 2-3 years before we get another one than they come out with another one next year and it's just a complete pile of crap and then they just completely ruin the experience.
Right. Yeah, exactly.
But yeah, really, really great game. I am really enjoying it.
Yeah.
That's probably all you're going to hear me talk about for the next couple of weeks.
Other than a thumbs up and no spoilers.
I'm pretty sure there's someone else that you're going to hear a lot of the exact same game about.
Who, me?
Yes.
I'm probably the rest of what I'll be talking about is mostly mechanic stuff, because I really, like I said before, it was largely going to be like, we go to Wall Market, we go to Don Corneo's, and we do this, we do that. And it's sort of like, no, the amount of story stuff that I've already seen is so different in such a positive way that I really don't want to spoil any of the story stuff for people already. And I know I've been one of the people that's like, this game's 23 years old, like, who cares? And it's like, well, it's kind of not the same game anymore, so I don't want to go too deep into it.
But it's pretty awesome.
It's really good.
And that's all I've been playing this week. What about you, boss?
I played a lot of Division 2 for some reason this week.
Comfort food gaming at its finest.
Yeah.
Whenever you follow a game with, for some reason, it's because it's comfort food gaming.
Because I needed it. A lot of what I've been doing is sort of catch-up stuff, because I played Division 2 a whole bunch when it came out, and then and not that I didn't enjoy it, I just didn't keep playing it until right before Warlords of New York came out. So I'm sort of playing catch up on like, okay, there's all these cool side missions and there's all these cool things. Like I had missed one contaminated zone. So I was doing that and I was picking up a bunch of collectibles. And this week I was working on all of the exotic craftable guns that I had never gotten, where it's like I had 2 of the 4 parts and I just needed to do these things to get the blueprint. A lot of that stuff. And a lot of that has been really fun in a way that normally Destiny 2 would fill that slot. But Destiny 2's the season has been pretty content thin. So a lot of it has been me catching up on stuff I hadn't done before. And also me, for I think the first time in Division 2, going to the Dark Zone, which was sort of a problem because I ran into the bug that's been going around right now, which is sometimes when you...
Poor phrasing there.
Yeah. Sometimes when you do an extraction and the helicopter comes to the ground and like drops the rope down so you can attach your contaminated stuff, that tanks your frame rate. And it it's not so much that it was tanking my frame rate. I was getting low frame rate. Is that I was getting hitches. But the hitches were lasting for 2 to 3 seconds.
Oh, jeez.
And, like, it was still accepting inputs. So I'm, like, trying to go behind a wall, and I'm sitting there, but my camera is spinning around because it thought that I was holding left on the right stick. And it sort of ruined my fun in that for a while. But I left that Dark Zone and went to another one, and that one was totally fine. Like, the other two were totally fine. And the Dark Zone was pretty much what it promises to be. It's PvPvE, and you're fighting a bunch of dudes, and some guy with a totally meta build comes up behind you that you didn't even see, and just blat, and you're dead, and blat, and now you can respawn.
Yep.
And the Division 2, when Title Update 8 came out, which is the Warlords of New York update, they changed pretty much everything in the game. To say that it has gotten a cold reception is putting it kindly.
Wait. People online don't like something.
It's the community is in revolt right now because they came out and they redid the loot system completely, and I think their intentions were really good, but I think it missed the mark largely. And they're putting out pretty rapid patches to kind of quickly do incremental fixes, and that stuff is making a pretty significant change. A lot of the gear sets when this new armor system came out were just totally broken. By a lot of them, I mean nearly all of them. So like they've been fixing them as they've been going on, and it has been frustrating as someone who likes to run gear sets like that. But the game has had a problem where the enemies are way overpowered in a really significant way. The classic Division 1 players will remember this, where it's just shotgun rushers mapping you from literally hundreds of meters away. Yeah. And it often is no fun. So there's been a lot of revolt in the community that was fairly strong, and then they banned a lot of people for that DPS exploit, and just the whole community has been on fire. Which is a bummer as someone who's just trying to learn stuff about the game. I've scroll through all these posts of play your own game, QA test your own game, devs are crap, blah, blah, blah. It's yeah, cool, I get it. You're all unhappy, stop playing and go play something else.
Yeah.
Go do anything. There are so many games out there. You don't have to play a game you're not having fun with. So that has been a little bit interesting, but the Stardew Valley community has been the soothing balm to that burn, because it's the most...
That Reddit community is insanely kind.
It's the most kind, where someone will post a screenshot and they're like, it's my first day of summer. This is the first time I'm playing it, and they have just this ramshackle farm. It's good on you, man. And it's just a whole bunch of people being you did a great job. I love your farm design. It's that's cool.
Give us a shout if you need any advice or help.
Yeah, stuff like that, where it's check our FAQ in the sidebar. It's such a great community. I definitely was not playing a bunch of that game this week at all.
I actually forgot to bring that game up too. I have chickens now.
Nice. Nice.
I'm working my way towards my final achievements too.
Nice. Yeah, I'm my PS4 version. I've got a couple of achievements left, but for me, it's been the playing it at night in bed on my Switch game, where it's I'm gonna listen to a podcast, and I'm just gonna focus on this thing, and I can kind of de-stress from everything else that's going on, and run a burgeoning successful farm. And Stardew Valley is really great. But that's all I played this week. So let's take a break. let's talk releases for the week of April 13th, 2020. Nothing. There's just kind of really nothing coming out this week. Not even like really cool small indie games. Just
bunch
nothing.
Of random stuff on PC, and that's it.
Yeah. So let's move on to news stories. The not DualShock 5 has been revealed. Sony just kind of dropped some pictures and an article that I would not have believed that this was the new controller unless they had posted a blog post about it. It's called the DualSense.
Yep.
And it sure looks like a thing.
Yep.
I don't mind it. Everyone has issues with it. I don't mind it.
I don't have any issues with the controller at all. Fine.
Yeah, I don't either.
Whatever. The thing that makes me laugh is they didn't learn from Microsoft's mistake.
Well, I think it's so funny because like when you look at the Series X controller, it's just we've taken this controller that everybody loves and enjoys, and we just took another little step. Like there's all this little stuff. They just kind of refined the edges a little bit. And I gotta blot some people here. And like they just it's a product that has been working since the 360, and they're just kind of refining it over time. I like that Sony's just like, DualShock 4 was really great. Here's a brand new, completely, totally different thing.
Yep.
And I kind of like the controller just because it looks so different from what we have on the market. Like the two-tone color scheme is crazy. I think the blue on the sides of the touchpad, I think that's actually the light bar now. I sort of wish they would have put out like a GIF of it changing colors. That would have made a lot more sense. But yeah, like it looks like looks like a DualShock 4 controller.
It looks good. I'm going to wait and pass my judgment on its bumpers and triggers because the DualShock 4 is garbage with those.
Yeah, they came out with a bunch of buzzwords where they're like, there's a haptic feedback system, which I think the Xbox One X controllers had at launch.
Original Xbox One controllers had it with the triggers.
Yeah. So those are cool on the Xbox. Super happy those are coming to PS5. They're doing adaptive triggers, the L2 and the R2. Sounds like the same thing that the Xbox One controllers had, which is also great. A really interesting thing is they have a built-in microphone array. So they're saying like the controller has a microphone in it that it looks like the button at the bottom is the mute and unmute button. So if you just got to send a quick message to someone or just say like, hey man, invite me to the party, whatever, unmute, you can do that. But you're going to want a headphone, like a headset anyway.
So get ready to mute everybody you play video games with on the PlayStation.
Get ready for the Xbox Vision Cam version of audio for the PS5. Really, so Sony. Speaking of, Sony did confirm the controller has a 3.5 millimeter headphone jack in the bottom because they showed shots of all the other angles of the controller and just not that. The changes to the controller, the options button is the same, but now it's a hamburger button.
That's Microsoft. That's the mistake Microsoft made. That's the one they didn't learn from.
It's really weird that they just the old one on the DualShock 4 just says options, and you know which button that is. So they now have the hamburger button, and then the other button used to be the share button, now it's the create button. There are no details about what that will actually mean because it's Sony and they don't explain everything all at once. That now has a surprise or fries icon on it. So you have the hamburger button and the fries button.
Nope.
I've heard that a lot.
Nope. Yeah. My favorite Photoshop that came out of this whole thing was it turned sideways with the goose. So now it is the goose button.
There you go. Yeah, you have the honk. Yeah, the honk button. Yeah. I think it's cool that that Sony isn't just putting out another DualShock controller. I really want to get it in my hands to see how it feels. It will probably feel just like the DualShock 4.
I guess.
It looks like it's splayed out a little bit more, though. At least in the pictures.
Like the buttons are like angled out a little bit. Yeah, I think that's because the touchpad is angled a little bit. I think that's kind of neat. USB-C connector, just like the Xbox Series X controller, and the Switch Pro controller. The thing that I am really excited about now is what the hell is the console going to look like if this is what the controller looks like?
I bet you the console is just a box.
I would almost, like, I'm of two minds. I would almost really enjoy it if it's just a black box, and I would almost really enjoy it if it's just this like two-tone white and black disaster.
Crazy thing.
Yeah, just like this like Android mess.
Yeah, it's got to be one of the extremes. I mean, if it's the pizza holder, I'm going to love that. That would be hilarious.
I might buy it day one if it's the pizza holder.
Yeah, like it would be one of like the biggest / best marketing mistakes of like, no, that the dev kit was exactly what the console looks like. And it's like, oh my god, what have you done?
I will say something that kind of threw me off a little bit was because they are releasing that paddle adapter for the current controller.
Yeah, the one that just came out.
I was expecting the newer controller to have something, and it doesn't.
Right. I'm still not sure if it has support for it or not. I'm sort of assuming not, because they didn't mention it. So that's...
but it's one of those weird things. Is like, so then what was the paddle adapter for?
Yeah,
or are
like...
they're going to come out with their own Elite-style controller here in a little bit and just haven't said anything.
I mean, that would be the biggest benefit. I would almost say normally they would announce it at the same time, but it's Sony and they never do that ever. But yeah, that at least the paddle thing is cheap. At the very least, it's less than $30.
It was like $24.99 or something.
Something like that, yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, so it's not super expensive at the very least, but yeah, well, just a super weird thing to drop on a Tuesday with a screenshot that really looks like a art school student's concept design and be like, no, that's the controller. It's like, oh, okay. T-Bomb Rocks in our Discord, who usually is the one that posts the news stories the fastest, was like, oh, that's the real one? I thought that was a joke. It's just like, yeah, no, that's what it is. Yeah. Next news story here. The ESA has announced that E3 will not have an online experience this year after all. This is pretty unsurprising here. They've said, quote, given the disruption that brought on by the COVID-19 pandemic, we will not be presenting an online E3 2020 event in June. Instead, we'll be working with exhibitors to promote and showcase individual company announcements, including on e3expo.com in the coming months, end quote. I think reading between the lines, that was like, whoops, everyone else moved faster than we did, so we got pushed out and we're not going to bother. So here's a bunch of trailers. And that's probably the smartest thing they can do, because the ESA is not everybody's friend right now after last E3. So maybe just kind of take a back seat. They have said... in their statement, they say they, quote, look forward to bringing our industry and community together in 2021 to present, excuse me, a reimagined E3 that will highlight new offerings and thrill our audiences, end quote. So that's concerning. I wonder how much it will be interesting to see what all the studios and publishers do around E3 time this year. Because if all of that stuff gets so well received, I feel like E3 2021 might move closer to the PAX end of the spectrum, where it's largely a fan show where press get early access, exclusive interviews and stuff like that. But it's largely a fan show as opposed to just an industry show, which I guess begs the question, why bother when we have PAX already?
Yeah.
So, interesting. This year was going to be a formative year for E3 anyway. And then with the pandemic going on, I think that sort of forced their hand into significantly changing what they did. So, we'll see. Just a couple of months until our not E3 2020 extravaganza episode. I'm not entirely sure what we'll be doing, but there'll be something we'll be doing.
So from the way everything was looking, it looks like we might have people doing stuff the week before, the week of, and the week after.
Yeah, just kind of like, here's our trailers and here's our inside Xbox and all that stuff for for the E3 week, our special June episode, that sort of stuff. Yeah. Last news story, Rogue Legacy 2 announced. That's it. They showed some concept art, and it looks really great. It looks like more Rogue Legacy, and I can't be more excited. So, super, super pumped for that to come out. Glad that Cellar Door Games are still going to be putting out games after Full Metal Furies was really not poorly received, because everyone who played it said they really liked it. It's just no one knew it came out. It's on Game Pass right now if you want to try it. I've heard it's good.
Yeah.
And I haven't played it, which I guess I'm part of the problem. Anyways, moving on to questions. Jimbo Jangles sends us an email here. Says, hey, TVGP, Jimbo Jangles here. Remember custom/detachable frame face plates on the 360? I completely forgot about that until just badly reading this email right here. Yeah, that wood faceplate was like the one that everyone was...
That was the only one I ever saw, yeah.
Yeah, it's the one everyone loved. I thought that was such a cool idea. I would switch mine out every few weeks, buy hand-painted ones off eBay. So that brings me to my question this week. What are some of your favorite or least favorite gaming peripherals? I'm talking crazy controllers, flight sticks for PC, cooling fans advertised to prevent the red ring, etc. I forgot about those. Did they work? Were they just gimmicks? I also thought the Super Scope on the Super NES was so cool, but it was always a battery or two short when I wanted to use it. Yeah, man. I think every cool thing they released in the 90s needed 6 to 12 batteries. Have a good show, Jimbo.
Yeah. D or C
Yep,
batteries, 6 to 12.
Right.
Yep, I can tell you the worst one straight away, and it's not even a peripheral. It's just a gaming device. It's the Game Gear.
Yep.
God, the Game Gear. Yeah, talk about like how many batteries did it need? 6 AA batteries?
I think it needed 6 or 8.
Yeah, and
It needed 6 because we just fished my wife's out because my son wanted to play the Sonic game that she had for it. And
oh, right.
And I had to hunt down 6 AA batteries to shove into that stupid thing so we could play it for 2 to 4 hours.
I was gonna say, you play it for a hot 2 hours with this real ghosty screen. Yeah, what a... Just like such a cool idea, and totally misunderstanding why the Game Boy worked, because that was such cheap technology that you could bring the price down on, and that the Game Boy lasted forever on, was it 4 AA batteries? 2 batteries?
Yeah.
I think it was 4.
Yeah, and that thing lasted forever.
At least the color was.
Yeah. I think the original was too. I can't remember. I have mine somewhere in this crap heap of an office.
I'll bring up another one though. Nintendo VR headset. Remember that bad boy?
The Labo headset?
Are you talking about the Virtual Boy?
No, I'm talking about the original red lines.
Yeah, the Virtual Boy.
The Virtual Boy.
Yeah, the Virtual Boy. I saw that in a Sears once.
Yep.
And that was the only time I had ever seen that thing.
Yeah, just like one of those Nintendo misses where they just... for every Wii you have, we're just like, this is a dumb idea, and it just takes off. You have something like a Virtual Boy where this is a dumb idea, and like, my head really hurts right now.
Also, I can't see as well as I used to.
Like, just a weird idea. I feel like the Steel Battalion controller is kind of still cheating at this point because it's still fresh enough in memories.
I still want to buy that thing, but it's still stupid expensive.
Yeah, they're rare enough that, and I think they got so famous or maybe infamous that they still goes for such a premium.
I look at the prices about once every other year, and to get a complete setup with the game, it's still anywhere from $200 to $400, depending if it's the blue LED one or the green LED one.
Man, that's still so much. I could talk myself into spending $100 on that controller because it's so big and shipping will be a nightmare, and like it's a showpiece. Like you can hang it on the wall and be like, look at this stupid thing. Look, it has a flip thing for the fire button. Like it's so dumb. But yeah,
Boston, $100.
Yeah,
that controller or PSVR.
Yeah, someone had posted in our Discord that
I saw that
used
too.
PSVR was going for $100, but it was from GameStop. So see you later.
Yeah.
My wife really wants to play Beat Saber, and I feel really badly because
It's really awesome.
Yeah, and I just I cannot justify as the new consoles become more of a reality, and they're
ever closer.
Well, and both Microsoft and Sony are like, we're not going to have any shipping delays because of the coronavirus. It's like, oh, okay, I thought get a little more free time. But oh no, all right, they're coming.
Mm-hmm.
As for other peripherals, though, the HOTAS that I have for my Xbox One, freaking awesome.
Yeah,
love that thing.
If I found out HOTASs can go forwards compatible, I may end up investing in one. But I've got to get the console out the way first, and then I'll think about HOTAS after that.
I keep looking at stupid expensive flight sticks for the PC.
Yeah, that's where the real problem is.
It really, really is.
Yeah.
But I honestly don't buy, for me, I don't buy very many peripherals. I think the only other non-controller thing that I bought was the charging thing that I have for my PS4 controllers.
Yeah.
That's it. I don't buy very many things outside of that.
I usually buy the really weird ones, like the DJ Hero turntables. That game turned out to be really great, thankfully.
Yes.
Like the Taiko Drum Master drums, because like that was on sale for like $20. The Dreamcast fishing controller, because that's just the dumbest thing ever, and that game was actually really good too. But I feel like we don't see so much of that anymore. Like after Guitar Hero and Rock Band, everyone was like, we're not doing that as well. We're not making that same mistake.
I mean, unless you count all the Skylanders and Lego Dimensions and
Toys to Life
Disney
is
stuff.
Disney Infinity.
Yeah.
I have. I mean, look at all my amiibos. I have those.
Right. Yeah, I have a couple of amiibos too. Yeah.
The most expensive peripheral I ever bought was still the Elite controller.
Yeah.
And now the Elite 2.
Yep.
And I'd say it's worth every penny because those controls are incredible, but don't. I just happen to like my paddles.
Well, and
you know,
I feel like that's a much more sensible purchase because that's like an investment piece. Like this is the thing you're always going to use when you're playing, even if you don't use the paddles or any of the extra features. It's like you have to use a controller, and here's a better, super expensive version of the regular controller. So if you're playing on that platform, that's going to be your investment.
Yeah. I still think the worst is forever going to be, and I don't care who says what, it's going to be the Dreamcast and the GameCube controller, which both existed, which has keyboards in the middle. Because why not?
I still have a problem with the Dreamcast controller in general because the plastic around the D-pad isn't flat. It's higher on the right side than it is on the left side. So it's just like...
Oh, I did not know that. It's
really weird, and every GameCube controller that ever came out is just the weirdest and the worst. But yes, like all those Phantasy Star Online controllers for every platform where it's the two sides of the GameCube controller with just a full keyboard in the middle. It's like, why would...
That's what I was going to ask was, I remember that now that you bring that up.
Yep.
God, that thing looked crazy.
It's so crazy. And it's not even like... There was that chat pad for the 360 that had like the tiny QWERTY keyboard in the middle. It's just like, no, man, here's a full 102 button keyboard right here in the middle between the two C sticks. Like, it's just really weird.
Although I guess I also did buy a micro keyboard for Elite Dangerous for my Xbox One so I could type and chat in that in between my HOTAS set.
Oh, sure.
So I guess I did technically buy a random peripheral.
That makes sense, though. T-Bomb Rocks asks a couple questions. He says, what's the most ambitious game of this generation that just did not hit the mark for you? If you could sequel the game, what would you change?
No Man's Sky, start on a world that doesn't kill you.
Yeah, they've done so much to onboard that game better, but there's still that like glaring thing of... We're going to teach you about shields by just kicking you in the teeth. Just like, no, just that's the second world, not the first one.
Yes.
God.
What other ambitious games this generation? I feel like very few things have landed for better or for worse like PUBG? No Man's Sky did. Yeah, PUBG.
Yeah, but even for me, I wasn't even looking forward to like PUBG or No Man's Sky. Those were just games I fell into.
Yeah.
So I don't have anything for those, but...
Oh, I know the most ambitious game that's been released this generation. It's Kingdom Hearts 3 because it exists.
It's a playable thing that I have finished.
It's a thing,
yeah. That's true.
Yeah, I could get behind that because it's parts of it I like, and there are other parts that I'm like, I don't know what's going on anymore.
Like, it's still a Kingdom Hearts game. Oh no.
I think I hit that threshold where it's like, I'm too old for this.
Yeah. Mickey's talking about the darkness again. I can't, not with you, Mickey.
Mm-hmm. You know how disappointed my son and I were when we went to Disney World and there wasn't a single Kingdom Hearts thing in the entire park?
Really? That's surprising.
Yeah. Nothing.
They refuse to acknowledge the fact that Square exists. They're like, fine, you can have the Disney stuff, but we're going to ignore you exist and you can't put any more of your Final Fantasy crap in.
You'll get Yensid and you'll like it.
I just thought having King Mickey in there would have been cool.
Or like a life-size Keyblade for like $400. Like someone's going to buy that.
I can buy, I mean, if you look up on my shelf, I have a lightsaber from Disney World.
Oh, that's right. Yeah, I forgot about that. Yeah.
Yeah. Where's my Keyblade?
What are other ambitious games this generation? Maybe that's a problem that we can't think of anymore.
Ambitious games for this generation, my personal favorite, and Nimp will probably agree with me here, Elite Dangerous.
Yeah.
They literally have running, what's it
Galaxy
called?
simulation? Yeah.
That's the word. Simulation of the entire, not just galaxy, universe.
That's true.
And that includes stock levels, trade prices, supply, demand, political influence, backwards and forwards. And they have it running across 3 platforms.
Right. Coastermall in chat
and they
says...
all affect each other.
Coastermall in chat says Fallout 76 LOL. Yeah. I think...
yeah.
I enjoyed it as something that was ambitious, but Outer Wilds, I think that's a game that it's divisive, but I think that's one of those ambitious games where it's like, we're going to simulate the solar system and there's no combat. And there's no guidance, really. Go crazy. Go explore.
Yeah.
I can't think of anything else that's been really big.
Never mind. You said Outer Wilds, not Outer Worlds.
Right.
Still an issue.
Right.
Still an issue.
Still a year later.
You don't do anything with a solar system in that. And I'm like, oh, the other one.
Right. No fighting. Oh, right. Yeah. T-Bomb Rocks also asks us, you've been the CEO of video games for a while. Thank you. I take my job seriously.
Hold on. Who's been the CEO of video
Us.
games?
Oh, remember
and I take my golden parachute and I jet out.
That's right. See you, jerks. Remember he asked us a CEO of video games question a couple months ago. And it's time to do a SmackDown versus Raw style change. Of the big 3, which developer would you trade?
Okay. Well, hold on. Firstly, Boston, do you get that reference? I thought as much.
Okay.
Keep going. Okay, carry on.
Of the big 3, which developer would you trade from Sony to Xbox and then to Nintendo, etc.? Then what exiting franchise for that first party would you have them work on? Oh, boy. Okay.
Easy. Sony Santa Monica. Take them to Microsoft.
That feels very much like... I want their great games on my platform.
100% exactly what it's about. I would probably... Honestly, I'd be fine giving the Coalition to Switch, to Nintendo.
Interesting, okay.
Get that Gears 6 pop money when they're all vinyl pop people in Gears 6 instead of regular people.
Gears versus Rabbids.
Come on, dude. You know that would kick serious behind. And I'd probably take the Harvest Moon devs and give them to Sony.
Interesting.
Just to give Sony a team who can make a game designed for families.
A Blue Sky game.
Sony doesn't have that.
Yeah.
Sony just doesn't. All of their games are about the end of the world. Not like Microsoft is any better, but at least we can always pull out the Viva Pinata card.
It would be interesting to see what the Coalition would do over at Sony, where it's like, if you can make one of these like prestige AAA single player games on another platform without the Gears sort of
license behind it.
Like without working on Gears, like what would you make if you wanted to make your game? Like what was your game look like?
I think the thing with the Coalition is I think everyone there was there because they wanted to work on Gears.
Yeah, it was like founded as the Gears studio, so... I think I would want to take... I don't remember the studio's name. The studio that made The Order 1886. I would want them to go over to Microsoft and like get that Microsoft first party money and be like, all right, take all your clear talent that you guys have. Here's just a truck full of money. Just make us something cool.
Ready at
Dawn. There you go. I don't know what else they're working on right now. I feel like they're...
Nothing, dude. They haven't made anything since... Apparently they made Lone Echo, whatever that is.
Probably a VR title.
Yep. It's not, and it's an Oculus exclusive.
Oh, there you go. Who would I take from Nintendo? I feel like it's hard to tell who Nintendo really has right now because so many of their teams are just, here's Sakurai's Smash team, here's the Mario team, here's the Zelda team. Like, there aren't really traditional studios. It's just...
Could you imagine what the Breath of the Wild team would do with a proper horsepower underneath that thing?
Great. Have you seen... excuse me, Christ. Have you seen emulators running Breath of the Wild on PC?
Nope. Refusing to look.
It's real great. Like ultra wide support, 60 frames, 4K. Like it's crazy.
What was that Chinese game that was a blatant ripoff of Breath of the Wild that came out for the PS4? It was some anime thing, but it was basically
Naruto.
No, but it was obviously like Breath of the Wild, but they released it on the PS4, and apparently they did they were being sued by Nintendo, I think, for a little bit there, but I haven't heard anything about it in a while.
You know, that rings a...
Genshin Impact?
Maybe? I don't remember.
That rings a bell.
A month or two ago. Yeah.
Yeah, but I don't remember the details.
Because I know that there was a pending lawsuit, but I don't know if anything ever came of it, because all of a sudden COVID happened. And
Right. Yeah. All right, Jay Vengeance asks our last question here of this week. What is the best or worst gaming lie you have told? I recently told my 8-year-old niece that Final Fantasy VII Remake is called Remake because the first one was so bad they spent 20 years remaking it.
Wow.
That's a good one.
Person.
As someone who has younger family members, I did do the classic grown up telling a child about video games thing of telling them that they were controlling the thing going on.
Oh, you'll be a player too. Oh, you're doing so great. You're that other car.
I have seen video footage of you doing this to your daughter.
100%.
For the record.
Yep. She helps me with my Stardew Valley farm a lot.
Yep.
I did that with my son when he was really young because he would see me with a controller in my hands, so he wanted one, so I just gave him one without the batteries in it.
Yep.
And then he hit about like 2 or 3 and realized that his didn't light up. So then I had to start giving him a controller that wasn't synced that would light up.
Right.
And then he got smarter.
Right.
I may or may not have had a broken... I think at the time, it was the original Guitar Hero guitar, but I was playing Rock Band at the time, which was like 6 years later or whatever. And I may or may not have took out the cable from the... Guitar Hero guitar and giving it to my nephew.
Yep.
Nice.
Perfect. Look at all the notes you're hitting, buddy. You're doing great. Yeah, that's the classic one. I feel like we have a lot less of the like rumors of like if you played through this fighting game without losing a round or continuing or anything, you get a super secret boss.
No, I have one.
Okay.
Go to Hutton and you will get your free anaconda.
Yeah, that's a very good one, actually.
Is that like the Elite Dangerous version of like there's a pool on the roof of the high school?
Boston?
It's one of them.
Yeah.
Boston. Yes. Go to Hutton.
No, I don't believe you.
Free anaconda.
No, so many lies. Oh man. Yeah.
That was the best one I had ever been a part of, and it was just like a flippant thing that I just threw out there because I assumed everybody else knew about it because I was just coming into the game. So I was like, oh yeah, and I just threw it out there, and apparently not a lot of people knew about what you had to do for that.
Right.
Nope.
Coach Jamal in chat says, I told my 7-year-old he was my character during Just Dance because he's a sore loser. That's a smart move.
That's pretty good.
That's a good one.
No touchy-feelies. Realize.
Yeah. I feel like I don't have a lot of those. A lot of stuff in the arcade where it's like someone knows
arcade was where all this stuff
like
went.
A friend of a friend beat the Simpsons arcade game without continuing, and they got a super secret unlock at the other mall across town.
But the thing is, though, is that you would get like Mortal Kombat, you would get the random stupid arcade game where you had to do this stupidly specific thing.
Right, and it's like, so who's this reptile guy?
It's like, all right, that's within the realm of believability.
Yeah.
It's the whole thing with like two truths and a lie.
Yeah.
Because it's like, okay, you tell someone how to do a fatality, it works, and they believe you once. You tell them about the animalities and it works, and they're just like, oh, okay. And then you tell them the third time, now beat it without, losing any health at all.
And then you fight
like
Shenlong.
Super rare thing.
And then the new Mortal Kombat comes out, and that's a thing in that game now.
Right,
so.
Babalities are real, and it's like, oh no, they were... What, was that in Mortal Kombat 2 the whole time? Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
That was the good stuff.
So what we learned is that Mortal Kombat is the lie.
That's right, Mortal Kombat lies.
Mortal Kombat builds the lies and makes dreams happen.
That's right.
Mortal Kombat is the dream.
And then Mortal Kombat 4 came out, and that was the dark time. Yeah. All right, thank you very much, everyone, for questions. That's our episode this week. TVGP.tv is a place to go to find and follow us on the right-hand side of the page. Patreon.com/E1M1. The ones are numbers. $5 a month. That's all it takes to get all the cool, extra, and early access content we have over there. It's a lot every week. What else do we have? Like Moon said in the first segment, we got a brand new Game Club recap happening next weekend, which I need to cram for now. And I think...
Do we have an update on your editing for the new stuff?
Yes, I have found a theme music and like an intro music. So I got to work through the backlog of those and then edit all the videos. And then, well, I think we're about halfway through season 1 right now. Halfway through the halfway point of season 1. Because each episode is a 2-parter, and it should be 9 episodes. So we're almost... Yeah, it's turning out... I don't want to hype it up. It's turned out really great. We're having a lot more fun than I was expecting, and it's turning out really great. So I need to really focus on editing that stuff and getting it all together. My biggest thing is I take a really long time to get the template to where I'm happy, and then as soon as I get that, I just churn them out week after week. Like, it's really easy to kind of get them done after that point. It's
maybe don't use the phrase.
I just churn and burn, baby. $5 a month.
Creating content, dude.
Grip it, rip it.
Come on.
So it's just. So I'm almost at the point where I can really start pumping them out. All right, that's our episode for this week. Thank you so much, everyone, for listening. See you next week. Bye.
Bye.
Okay, so before we go into titles, before we do all that stuff, I've got some bad news for you, Boston. Yeah. This episode's going to be a nightmare to edit for you.
Uh-oh, what happened?
Around about the 1 hour and 23 minute mark, my monitors all went black.
Again?
Is that why your camera changed zoom functions on Skype?
Probably. I don't know, because I can't see Skype right now because it's frozen.
Cool.
And my Audition decided it wanted to stop recording at that point, which was lucky because I just stopped talking and I consistently stopped talking right up until the point that I got it all reset and could continue recording and write down when I started talking again. So you're just going to have to find a way to slot me into the right place, roughly.
Well, I had to do it last week for the NIMP.
So 2 weeks in a row. Sorry about that.
Do you what's your timestamps?
123 was when I
123
it stopped recording me. Around about 123 because I couldn't tell exact time because my screen went black.
I couldn't tell anything because I can't see anything. All right.
Yes, and that was around about the PlayStation 4 controller talk, and I resumed talking at emails. So there's going. Wow. If you're wondering why I was quiet during the news, folks, that's why.
Okay.
I don't know. I felt like I picked up pretty well then.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. Okay, that's a worst case scenario. I just use a backup recording, and that stuff usually sounds pretty good. So.
Oh, you can cheat and you can put the backup recording in and then just line it up.
Yeah, it would sound a little weird, but I could.
And then delete the backup recording afterwards, dude.
All the rest of us come in stereo and you just come in mono.
Right.
Yes.
And over to questions. All right. Hit me with your titles. Nimp.
All right. I have You're Not the Boss of Me.
I have the variation on that of You're Not the Boss of Me, but okay.
Yeah. I Pinged Your Banner. Pointy, pointy, shooty, shooty.
I feel like we've had a similar title to that before, like Shooty Shooty Bang Bang, maybe?
Something, yeah.
Probably.
Yeah. Is it an Ultra Nightmare? Go to Heaven Doom.
Go on that one.
Invest and diversify your blood points. Broody Shooty. The Digital Shelf. It Is What It Promises. And Shotgun Rushers.
All right, Moon, how about you?
Super, super grindy. I Hate Randos. Pointy, pointy, shooty, shooty. At 7. It makes sense in context. If you don't believe me, then that's your own problem. Re-listen to the episode. At 7 is a good title. It got all sciencey. I was fairly competent. That's my boy. This one probably gets a veto, but stripper and a shotgun.
Yeah, probably.
Bowl of turkey for a turkey. For some reason, totally meta build, because I've never heard that phrase before and it makes perfect sense. The Viva Pinata card, churn them out and grip it and rip it.
I have You're Not the Boss of Me, but okay. My Wife is Great, I Am Terrible. Go to Heaven. It Got All Sciencey and Totally Meta Build.
For me, it's It Got All Sciencey, and As Much As You Hate It, Boston, Grip It and Rip It has got to be in it. And Totally Meta Build. It's between those three.
Totally Meta Build. I like It Got All Sciencey and Totally Meta Build. I like You're Not the Boss of Me, but okay, but I think it's better in context, and I think it's a little too long.
Nimp.
I'm trying to think. I think I like It Got All Sciencey.
Whose background was that?
Probably mine. There's kids outside.
Oh, okay. I was like, God, is that my kid?
No.
She's so loud, she goes across the country and then back through.
Yep.
Reverb.
I'm okay with It Got All Sciencey. I need to put an EY in there. I'll look it up.
I didn't put an E in there, but I'm probably spelling it wrong because my handwriting is garbage.
Yeah, I'll have to look it up and see if there's a...
Look at the difference in quality. So neat. So thick. Nice. So delicious.
Wait.
A scribble.
Phrasing. I'll have to look at see what the Oxford Dictionary has to say about the word sciencey.
Don't trust nobody from Oxford, dude. Even I know that.
All right, let me know when you guys are ready.
I'm ready.
Oh, man, I don't know.
For once, Moon is like, I'm ready, let's do this, let's go. And Nip's like, bad news.
Yeah.
Jimbo Jangles in chat says show title, Finding Chickens at Retail. That one's good.
I think I got something.
Okay. All right, starting in 3, 2, 1. This is That Video Game Podcast, episode 651 for April 13th, 2020. It got all sciencey.
The doors open themselves.
Density is a property of matter. Wow. Can't even talk now.
All right, thank you.
Podcast, I'm done.
Thank you. Stick a fork in me, I'm done. All right, thank you so much, everyone, for listening and watching. We'll see you next week. Bye.
Bye.
Thanks for hanging around, guys.
And we can stop recording.
Can't find my mouse cursor.